In early 1941, the Soviet tank industry was undergoing a period of rapid development with the success of the T-34 and KV tank models. While the T-34, with its groundbreaking design, had just entered production and already demonstrated significant potential, design bureaus continued to explore new, superior tank solutions. The increasing strategic tensions in Europe further emphasized the urgent demand for advanced military vehicles. The A-44 project, initiated while the T-34 was proving its combat capabilities, reflected the Soviet Union philosophy and continuous development. Although the T-34 had already received high praise, the emergence of the A-44 highlighted the long-term vision of the designers, who were always seeking innovative and advanced solutions. Directed by factory number 183 and engineer Morozov, the project aimed to develop a new generation of tanks with superior features, such as a front-mounted engine, thicker armor, and more powerful armament. Although the A-44 was never mass-produced or saw combat, it still demonstrated the Soviet Union's proactive approach and strategic foresight in the development of future military vehicles. The A-44 project was initiated in early 1941 under the leadership of Alexander Morozov at Kharkov Factory number 183, KHPZ. The goal was to develop a new generation of tanks that met the demands of modern combat. While unofficial sources have linked IS Ber to the project, official documents confirm that Morozov was the primary leader. In May 1941, the A-44 received approval through Order number 192, which required a medium tank weighing less than 29.5 tons. Armed with either a 57mm ZIS-4 or 76.2mm ZIS-5 gun, along with secondary armaments such as machine guns and flamethrowers. The development timeline set the goal of completing the armor by September and the prototype by October 1941. Despite design challenges, particularly with the front-mounted engine and weight, the A-44 received strong support from senior leadership, particularly Kliment Voroshilov. As the tank exceeded the medium-class weight, Voroshilov helped reclassify the A-44 as a heavy tank, allowing its continued development. The A-44 project reflected a blend of innovation and the practical requirements of the Soviet military. One of the distinctive features of the A-44 was the placement of the engine and transmission at the front, while the combat, compartment, and turret were positioned at the rear. This represented a significant departure from traditional designs, such as the T-34 and KV, which had the engine at the rear. This configuration not only provided better weight distribution, but also enhanced crew protection by placing the engine mass at the front. Additionally, it created more space in the combat compartment, facilitating the potential for weapon upgrades and improving ergonomics. Although this design offered several advantages, it also presented notable technical challenges. Specifically, the placement of the transmission and engine cooling system at the front required careful attention. Furthermore, issues related to crew visibility and the stability of the front drive wheels were important aspects that needed further exploration. Despite these challenges, the A-44's design showcased its creativity and adaptability in meeting the tactical needs of the Soviet military. In terms of specifications, the A-44 was designed with 3 different variants, each featuring different armor and weight to meet various combat needs. The lightest variant weighed approximately 36 tons, with a 75mm thick front hull armor and a 66mm thick side armor. The medium variant weighed around 40 tons, with 90mm thick front hull armor and 75mm thick side armor. The heaviest variant weighed up to 50 tons, with 120mm thick front hull armor and 100mm thick side armor. The flexibility in armor and weapon configurations demonstrated the A-44's adaptability, ranging from a medium tank to a heavy breakthrough tank. Regarding weapon systems, the A-44 offered several options, from the 57mm ZIS-4 cannon to the 107mm F-42 cannon. The light version was equipped with a 57mm cannon, while the heavier variants featured either the 76.2mm F-34 ZIS-5 cannon or even the 107mm F-42 cannon, providing greater offensive power. The A-44's secondary armament included several 7.62mm DT machine guns, which could be mounted in various positions, including the front of the hull, coaxial with the main gun, and at the rear of the turret. The availability of multiple weapon choices and the flexibility in armor and engine configurations allowed the A-44 to be used in a wide range of roles on the battlefield. In terms of mobility, the A-44 was equipped with a V5 diesel engine, producing 600 horsepower for the light variant, and the more powerful V6 engine, generating 850 horsepower for the medium and heavy variants. The vehicle's top speed ranged from 53 kilometers per hour to 65 kilometers per hour, depending on the weight and configuration of each variant. The torsion bar suspension system, with 8 small wheels on each side, improved its cross-country capability, while the vehicle's ground clearance allowed it to maneuver smoothly over obstacles. Although the A-44 project had received support from senior leadership, it was officially cancelled. The project was discontinued, not due to design flaws, but because of external factors, primarily the war and resource shortages. Military leaders recognized that, in the context of the ongoing conflict, mass-producing a proven tank like the T-34, which was effective in combat and easier to produce, was more crucial than continuing with a new, complex design like the A-44. Therefore, since the A-44 project was cancelled during the testing phase and no operational prototypes were built, this tank was never put into production or deployed in any combat operations during World War II. Nevertheless, some of the technical concepts and design elements from the A-44 project were not forgotten. Certain aspects, particularly the front-mounted engine and rear combat compartment configuration, were reconsidered and applied in later Soviet tank projects, such as the Object 416, a prototype medium tank self-propelled gun developed in the 1950s. Although never realized, the technical ideas in the A-44 project contributed to the development of post-war Soviet tank designs. These concepts reflected a step forward in combining the mobility of medium tanks with stronger armor and greater firepower, approaching the characteristics of heavy tanks. After the war, the trend of developing main battle tanks that combine mobility with powerful firepower became the standard in global tank design. The design philosophy of the A-44, though not widely applied, paved the way for new directions in tank development, demonstrating an ambition to break away from old models and meet the needs of future warfare. Even though it was never put into service, the A-44 remains a prime example of research and development in a wartime environment, where external factors such as war and resource shortages determine the fate of weapons projects. The story of the A-44, though incomplete, is still an important part of the history of Soviet tank development.